I'm Erica Chalella. I'm a Belle da Costa Greene Curatorial Fellow here at the Morgan, and I've primarily been working on processing the collection of professional papers on Belle Greene, as well as doing a massive amount of research on all the context she created while working here. Belle da Costa Greene was Pierpont Morgan's librarian from 1905 till 1924, when she became the library's first director when we became a public institution, and she would hold that spot until 1948.
Greene really made the Morgan in many ways. She's the heart and soul of this institution and really brought many of the objects that we see around us today into the collection, researched them, made sure they were conserved properly, made sure she had the right staff working to preserve them.
When it comes to Greene and the Morgan, it's kind of like, what didn't she touch? What didn't she impact? She had a hand in collecting, to handling researchers, to making sure our typewriters had ink, to make sure the elevator worked. Her handprints are everywhere. And I think it was just her passion for this institution that just drove her to create this amazing library that we still have today.
Researching Belle da Costa Greene is a challenging enterprise. There are significant gaps in the archives that document her life and career. The professional papers of Belle da Costa Greene at the Morgan have just been recently cataloged for the first time by Erica Chalella. And this collection is extraordinary in the kind of information it can give us about Greene as a library executive, about her leadership role at the Morgan.
We have completely processed the collection, which means I have read every single letter, which is 40 linear feet over 100 boxes. And essentially, I've just created a finding aid that will document each folder so people know what's in each one and make it accessible to researchers. We're really taking the time to help flesh out who she was, not just as a librarian, not just a woman of color, but who was she as a whole individual person. This is a smattering of the archival collections. It is a vast amount of documents from many different folders. Some are handwritten, some are typed, some are original types, some are retained copies. One of my favorite is this one, which actually defines Greene's views on access long before anybody really thought about it. And she's talking about the idea of creating essentially what's called facsimiles or copies of some of our most important work and sending them to different institutions throughout the country so that scholars didn't have to travel and have that cost of travel to be able to work with these materials. And I mean, we think of digital copies now, but that's not something that's completely new. And I just think it really says a lot about who she was and why she was doing the work she was doing.
The Belle da Costa Greene Curatorial Fellowship at the Morgan Library Museum brings early career curators from underrepresented communities into the Morgan working on curatorial and exhibition projects.
I came across it, read the description, read about Belle da Costa Greene, and I was just like, this is where I need to be. And it has just been an amazing experience to work directly with her papers and have the opportunity to really learn who she was as a librarian, as an early career librarian myself, to understand the dynamics that she developed here and see how much she influenced the idea of public access. The exhibit that's downstairs is a case display called Belle da Costa Greene and the Women of the Morgan. And it's leading up to the 2024 exhibit that'll be focused on Belle da Costa Greene's life and career here at the Morgan, which will mark the centenary of the Morgan being a public institution. And it takes you through her role as a director and boss, to her role as a mentor, and then finally her role as a friend. I'd never done a museum exhibition, and that was really an interesting experience to learn the process of deciding which items can go, how they'll specifically fit. I'd never been a part of an installation before of any size, so it was really great to kind of see that all take form and make what you have in your head come to life right in front of you. This work is so important because she's working here right when women get the right to vote. She's working here at a time when a woman is expected to leave once they get married, which many of our secretaries did. It's been interesting to see what gets preserved, why is it preserved, how are institutional records just as important as the historical documents that we hold here. They tell a very important story, not just about how we ran as an institution, but why we collected what we collected. And her voice is in all of that. And so it's important to make these materials accessible to people outside the institution, but also inside the institution, so everybody kind of knows the legacy that they're working on and building on today.